bonus features. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert, episode 56. I'm Alex.
And I'm Robert.
And today we're going to talk about movies and stuff. But before we do, it's time for our 2-minute pointless interlude of sports. That sometimes goes over 2 minutes. Alright, so, I've been slacking on my UFC.
Yes,
but
and
I can tell you, Israel Adesanya has won in stunning fashion over Robert Whittaker to unify the middleweight belts.
That's good news. I like him.
Yeah, no more that. Yeah, it is good news. Because I was worried how he was going to do against serious heavy hitters. Like the guys who have either fought or should be fighting at the light heavy.
Right.
So he's got the goods.
That it is.
Won by knockout.
That he does.
Yeah. And he was talking about, like, in his victory speech, he was talking about Death Note. It's like, God, what a nerd. Love it.
Nice.
Let's see. We still got the baddest motherfucker on the planet belt coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's 244 or whatever the hell number we're on.
When is that coming up?
Nate Diaz. Excuse me. Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. I think that's, I don't know. I think that's December. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Whatever. It's coming up soon. No, actually, it might be late November. It doesn't matter. It's coming up soon. So that's all I got for combat sports. Hockey, man. It's back.
It is.
Hawks are losing a lot of games by 1 goal.
Yeah.
We got some new fresh faces who are making some differences, though.
Yeah?
Dominic Kubalik
Okay.
and Alex Nylander.
All right.
So far, they've been doing good stuff. Shaw had a pretty productive game.
That's what I heard.
Had a couple of goals. It's good to have him back. But Jesus Christ, can we play 3 full periods of hockey? It'd be nice.
I still feel good about this season for them.
I guess so.
I feel okay.
Yeah, because like an 0-2, it's like such a long season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's still not the start we wanted.
No.
Also, what's up with that bullshit playing the first game in Prague?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was very weird.
At 1 p.m.
That was a weird sort of thing. I don't get that.
Baseball, shit has happened since we last talked.
Shit has happened since we last talked. The Cubs have not made the playoffs. They finished 3rd in their division, and Joe Madden is no longer the manager. Which, I think it came as no surprise because
at least they gave him
him
a full season's chance.
Yeah, and I mean, he's the winningest manager in the history of the franchise, and he's a fucking legend. And man, it sucks to see him go, but it felt like it was time. Yeah,
because it was kind of one of those things, you had your run, but let's see a little more productivity, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, from what I heard, and I'm not an authority on the clubhouse, but like it sounded like the culture there was kind of slipping. People were just kind of sad. So maybe there was something that it needs a bit of a jolt. Maybe we can get David Ross in there to manage the Cubs. I don't know. I don't know who's going to be the answer.
The Bears, man.
The Bears are 3-2, but it feels a lot worse than it actually is.
I feel like we hardly have deserved to win any of these games. And that was the one thing I was going to say. If we did come out on top against the, who the hell was it? Raiders, we really didn't deserve to.
I don't know. I think there are only 2 of those games that we really didn't deserve to win. The Raiders game, which we didn't win, and then the what was the other one?
Was it
the Broncos game.
Yeah.
But that one I kind of expected to be a bitch because the Broncos have we thought they had a pretty good defense. It's still pretty good, and like it's hard to play in Denver. But we beat Washington and Minnesota pretty handedly.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird going forward because you don't have Akeem Hicks.
Mitch is he out again?
Yeah, you didn't see you watched the Raiders game?
Yeah, I didn't.
Dude, you didn't see his elbow flopping around, his forearm flopping around.
Kind of. Well, see, I think I was sort of not paying attention for a while because
there was a time where I tuned out.
Yeah, dude, I thought it was going to be a blowout, and we made it interesting. I'll give him that. Our defense played an uncharacteristically bad game. A lot of missed tackles.
I think I might know why that is, and I'm not trying to make excuses for them, but like it's weird to have a defense perform the way that they've been performing in the past 4 weeks, and then not show up. I think it's because they didn't even land in London until Friday night.
No, I mean that's part of it.
Because it's like, how else am I supposed to explain this?
What is
them
up
falling
with this
off
shit?
a cliff?
I don't get this, man. Like all those Europe games.
Yeah, they're trying to. Do they want to do 2 a year there? Or
I don't know what's going on. What do they think they're going to have a team there?
Yeah, I don't know. They might want to try and do that. I don't know why they wouldn't aim for like, I don't know, Toronto or some other like contiguous team, like fucking city or territory to have a fucking football team, but. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Bears. I feel not great about Chase Daniel. I hope he doesn't start. I know a lot of people after the Vikings game were like, he should be the quarterback for instead of Mitch. And I'm like, okay, he played pretty well.
As good as him.
But it's like, realistically,
but who's a better scrambler?
Well, it's not even that. It's just like, who are we investing time and money in?
Yeah,
like who's the future? Like that we're trying to develop.
Chase Daniel he's a backup.
He's a backup, and he's your development guy. He's the guy that you bring in to make the quarterback smarter.
Sure.
I don't know if it's working. He's certainly good at throwing picks. Because those 2 picks were like, he was looking right at the motherfucker he threw it at.
There was one where I couldn't even imagine who he was trying to throw to on our team. It was like the guy was catching a punt.
Oh my God, it was so bad. That might have been I think I know what you're talking about. Was the second one? Oh my God. It was so bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's Bears. Bears,
they're happening. Got some preseason bowls.
They're 0-2, but they don't look that shitty.
Well, because the preseason, as we know, in all sports means everything.
It holds a lot in the cards for the regular season.
Yep, sure does. As always. Nah, I mean, whatever. The preseason started, so that's it for sports. Unless you have any pressing matters in that weird horse racing where they're in the like motorcycle sidecar things, you know what I'm talking about? Chariot.
This sounds like some steampunk shit you made up.
No, it's a thing where they're in those weird little chariots.
But there's a horse.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said it's a sidecar.
Well, it looks like a sidecar of a motorcycle.
Drill a sidecar into a horse's stomach? Like the side of his stomach?
Yeah. The sidecar is on the horse.
That's what I imagined when you said the horse with a sidecar.
The chariots kind of resemble a sidecar.
Oh, okay. I have no idea. This is going to be a bitch to find images for.
All right.
I'm just going to be like, sidecar horse game?
I got to step up my game with these obscure sports.
That's okay.
I gotta watch more ESPN 8 The Ocho to learn what they're called.
The Ocho.
Like that one Supercacao or something. Still don't know what it's called.
Was it the Thai?
Yeah, it's the
tennis game?
Foot volleyball
game.
That stuff is awesome. Have you ever watched it?
I had to look up images for it. And it looks pretty intense.
Crazy. It's like, I want to combine my skill of volleyball and taekwondo and apply it somewhere useful. All right. So that'll do it for sports. Moving on to the news. Well, we start off with, I don't know how to even start this. Okay. WB is making a Funko Pop movie. So, not like Lego, which at least has the idea of building things and making your own, like, whatever, like, building it your way, being creative, etc. Not like Playmobil, which it's like, okay, I at least get where you go, and it's a ripoff of
Lego movie. You're trying to shamelessly copy it. Got it.
Yeah, got it. I understand that. Even Angry Birds, I'm like, all right, I get it. You can.
It's a popular app.
And there's characters that are kind of fun looking. I get it.
Basic conflict.
Right, I get it. You can make a story out of that.
Right.
Fine. Not that any of the, like, of the 3 things, I guess Lego's all right, but, like, I get the other 2 still.
Right.
I get it. This I don't even understand. So WB is making a Funko Pop movie, as I said, but they also had the nerve to say that it wasn't about money. Do you think you could pull up that quote real quick?
Brian Mariotti, CEO of Funko Pop, said, "We're thrilled for this opportunity and are committed to make an amazing Funko movie that stands on its own merit. This isn't about selling toys or..." I can't even get through the fucking quote. "This isn't about selling toys or building a brand. The team at Warner Animation Group have a unique vision of what the first film should be, and we are extremely excited to take this journey alongside them. This is, you know what the journey was, me trying to read that, because there's like, man, twists and turns in that quote. Like,
it's like if we did it,
it's not about money.
If we didn't,
it's not about selling a toy.
Let's do a quick segment of Is It Bullshit? Yes.
Yeah, no, it's...
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, the nerve they have to, like, say, like, this isn't about making money. Oh, by the way, we're going to make, like, 4 or 5 of these. This isn't about building a brand. You are so fucking full of shit, I can't even... You're more full of shit than a 10-pound hummingbird. You are lying.
So I guess in order to...
Because at least with the Lego thing, you had, you know, the story about the kid and his dad. Like... There was something there, sure.
This looks like they're literally just taking the same page out of the book. Like, it even says, like, plot details are scarce, but the Funko movie will reportedly center around Wonder Woman, the Care Bears, Hellboy, Deadpool, Hello Kitty, Harley Quinn, Darth Vader, and My Little Pony. It's like, you're literally just using all the properties that the Lego movie hasn't used yet.
Yeah.
Like, and even some of them that they have, like Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn are in some of those things. But anyway, I guess we should... not preface, but like we should kind of go into why we're not just upset about this movie because it's about a toy and then it's a shameless attempt at trying to bank off of the toy. We have a problem with Funko Pops in general and kind of what they represent.
They're garbage because it's like they're okay. Like I'm not like into like collecting that kind of like stuff really. Mm-hmm. I'm more of just like a posters kind of deal.
Right. They're very kitsch. And I hate to be that like snob, but it's like my inner Tyler Durden comes out where it's like you really think like all these like 1,000 Funko Pops represent you. Like all these like, oh, I have the entire set from My Dinner with Andre or something else.
My Dinner with Andre. You know what? I would actually get those just
out of spite.
just because those are like, what even is this? Yeah. That's like a That's a plastic contradiction.
A little bit. I would. You know what? And they will never make that. So you know what?
So I'll never buy a Funko.
No. You should carve them out of your own feces and contact a local modern art exhibit and just put them on display.
My problem is this, and I know other people have had this exact same sentiment. If you're gonna collect like action figures or whatever, like if that's your thing, get like the ones that took like craftsmanship.
Yeah, like the Hot Toys or whatever.
Yeah, or anything that isn't Funko Pop. It's the fact that you're literally taking things that are basically the exact same and just painting them different. Like, these are like Crazy Bones that cost $5 a pop. Because at least with Crazy Bones, you get a pack of 4 of them for $2. Like, who cares?
Yeah, you line them up and you put whichever one's ugliest in the middle to shoot at your best friend's Crazy Bones.
Yeah, and there was a game.
It was a game. Yeah, there was a point.
Funko Pops are...
And like I hate to poo-poo like if you collect Funko Pops, like whatever. Like I'm not trying to shit on your like, hobby, but like I mean, come on, man. Like, well, yeah.
I mean, we are, but like just ignore us.
Just ignore us. We're dumb.
Suck.
Yeah, we're trying to ruin your fun. But this is a little. You can at least concede that like making a movie about these things is like, come on, man. That's a little bit of a reach. Like we got thousands upon thousands of original scripts, and I hate to beat this drum again, but like we have so many scripts out there that you could even just at least convert into another property, you know? And instead we have a movie being developed based off of yet another thing that may or may not it's blind need to be adapted.
I feel like
Pop?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have a problem with the way it kind of feels like with Funko Pops, kind of blind consumerism. Yeah, just stick a Marvel sticker on there. Oh, yep, we painted it green.
Just buy it.
Yeah, it's the Hulk now. Fuck you. You'll buy it.
Yeah, we painted it gray. Now it's the Abomination Funko Pop. Yep. Just fucking buy it.
Yeah, just fucking get it.
Right.
Instead of like, you know, getting something that actually resembles the character and like took some like really cool like prototypical designs to make it, you know.
The Hot Toys I get.
Yeah.
Because like, that's an investment. That's like a $700 figure.
Yeah, it's like it's an artful looking thing.
Right.
You know? That's cool if that's like what you want. Like I'm much more in favor of that if that's your jam. Mm-hmm. But this just represents the kind of like fanaticism that I've kind of grown to not like.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure how this is going to transfer.
And obviously there's some people who are just like, they're cute little things who aren't fanatics, but whatever.
But I also don't even know how that's going to transfer. Like, I feel like people don't even, like, what are they going to be like? Oh, wow, yeah, I love collecting those. I can't wait to see the movie, like, about them. Like, people don't invest in Funko Pops to play with them like they would Legos and make their own stories. At least, like, adults that collect them don't.
Yeah.
Like, they just do it so that they can have them, so that they can put them on a mantle, have them for show.
If you, like, collect them, sure.
Yeah.
You just got a bunch.
There's no, like, creative, like, output. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, with Legos, at the very least, you can build your own story.
That's what I was saying. You can build your own, like, I don't fuck the directions.
Yeah.
I'll build my own car. And it's not going to work as well, but damn it, I'm going to try.
It's going to have square wheels, goddammit, but we're going to make it work.
We're going to make it work, because I said so.
Yeah, and Angry Birds, like, has a very basic story. It's pigs versus the birds, whatever.
It's like, it's at least, the base level is there. The base level is not here.
I don't get it. It's going to be very odd to see this come to pass.
I know we just said this, but the nerve they fucking had to say, this isn't about making money. How much do you want to bet when this comes out there's going to be like special displays in stores and all that stuff?
Are we going to have...
That is bullshit.
Are we going to have Funko Pops of Funko Pop characters?
Oh, man.
From the Funko Pop movie?
Obviously, there's going to... No, I know exactly what you're saying. If there's going to be any original characters...
I don't even know.
No, but if they do, you think they're not going to make them?
Well, that's the thing, too, is it's like, this is the Funko Pop of the Funko Pop characters. It's like, they already look like Funko Pops in the movie.
Do we need any more of this meta bullshit? That's like another thing. Seriously. No, I mean that.
No, I get you. It's just, this is weird. I can't wrap my head around this
winking
thing,
at the camera and, like, you know, I mean, self-referential shit. I get it. Mm-hmm. There's some things that are meant for that. You know, like Deadpool's kind of that way.
Right.
I get that. Okay, that's fine. But just some other things, just stop. Mm-hmm. God. It's unbelievable that this is really like trying to go further than the bottom of the barrel. That's the problem I have with this.
Yeah, I get it.
Because I kind of feel that way about Angry Birds, but it's kind of like, you know, music that you thought was bad like a while ago, and then you hear new music, and you're like, you know what? You Got It Bad's a pretty good song. Dude, no lie. It has a pretty sweet guitar solo. Who knew? Like a 2-minute guitar solo in an Usher song. No, it's just like I feel like by the rule of contrast, like this just elevated all the other shit. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's that with the Funko Pop movie. Look out for that one. But WB's got some other things going on.
They do.
This time, we finally have a trailer for Birds of Prey. And this time, we mean it.
It's not a sizzle reel. It's not a what the fuck, proof of concept mood piece trailer mood board.
It's not a bunch of people being intercut really quickly so you can't tell what their costumes look like behind backlit...
a dark warehouse?
Yeah, backlit dark warehouses. Real, honest-to-God shots.
Yes.
For, you know, like the regular length of a trailer.
We have dialogue.
Yeah.
We have
not a lot, though.
Yeah, like 7 lines of dialogue, 7 or 8.
All right, so what'd you think?
I'm going to be honest with you.
What's that?
I think this looks pretty good.
Huh? Okay.
And a lot of that comes from a weird place because I saw the trailer and I was like, yeah, that looks all right. And then I saw a lot of the reactions and it's been very mixed. Very, very, very mixed. With the prevailing feeling being, I thought this was a Birds of Prey movie. This isn't... Harley Quinn's everywhere. And, like, we've already talked about that.
We've kind of known that. And the marketing also kind of implied that... yeah.
What do you think?
Well, there's kind of... Here's... Like, this isn't really a hot take, but this is just how I view it. Mm-hmm. As someone who likes the Birds of Prey comics, I fucking hate it.
I get that.
However, if I remove that... from the thought process and the fact that it should just be called Harley Quinn and her pals,
feathered friends.
Yeah, Harley Quinn and her pals instead of Birds of Prey. Mm-hmm. If I get rid of that fact, this looks like I don't know what it's gonna be, but it looks kind of good.
See, that's what I said, and I'm like, at the very least, This looks wacky and weird. And, like, the production design is real fucking weird. And there's a lot of brief glimpses of, like, the fucking Joker. It looks like the Joker's hideout. It's like a fun house.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, Black Mask's lair.
His bar
his
or whatever.
nightclub or whatever. And then, like,
his
there's,
bar
like,
that has, like...
hands and shit.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know what's going on. Like, you have Ace Chemical, like Harley blowing up Ace Chemical, and all the weird costumes. And
yeah.
This at the very least doesn't look boring.
Yeah, no, I can tell you that. Because, like, this could be a candidate for a 2 out of 2 bombs. For those of you playing it at home, that's what we call movies that are so bad they're good. But so it looks like it could be that.
Batman and Robin, also not boring.
Yeah, you know what? I think being boring is the worst crime you can do for a movie.
Right.
So if it's not boring and it's terrible, like, I don't care. Mm-hmm. But this could be good because I'll say this: it is obviously very street level.
Right.
There's not a lot of magic or bullshit that doesn't belong. Because that was my problem with Suicide Squad is the whole Enchantress thing just felt
out of place.
Felt way out of place. So that's kind of where I'm at. There's the part of me, it's like, comics. That part of me hates this trailer. You know, what with Huntress wearing a refurbished Planet Hollywood jacket.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the costumes suck. They're not good.
Yeah, and
except like Harley Quinn's got a couple looks. I'm like, all right, that's Harley Quinn.
She's got like that one where she's like, I don't even know what you call it. Like she's wearing like a weird like she's wearing that thing where you can only see. It's like a scarf thing that like goes around her head where you can only see her face, and she's wearing a. I'll have the thumbnail up in the fucking video, but it's like a weird shot.
It reminds me of like Mildred Pierce.
Yeah, it's like what is going on
it's
here?
Like a weird film noir look.
She's got her hyenas, which I like.
Yeah, no, see that's the like one of the things that I was saying is it looks like okay as a movie, but as a DC thing, my beef is just. I'm not getting the impression that these are the characters they say they are, except for Harley Quinn.
I'm holding out hope because, again, like, maybe they, and this is me making excuses and just maybe trying to fucking deny my way out of it. Maybe they're just leading with Harley Quinn for this marketing campaign just to make sure that normies aren't turned off.
Bullshit. She's the main character.
Okay, even then, maybe there is a lot more even of a Black Canary and Huntress than we let on. Only because in this, there's not really anybody, like, no one really talks in this.
No, I'm sure, like, the fact that they have already casted young Helena Bertinelli and all that stuff, they're going to go into her backstory, and the fact that Black Canary works for Black Mask, obviously that's going to be part of it. I'm just saying... Like, come on, man. Like, calling this Birds of Prey, that's bullshit. And as I said before, I don't really get that vibe that these are the characters from the comics whatsoever. However, and I know that this is rare, sometimes when they just don't give a fuck about the source material, it doesn't always matter.
Sure.
And that's kind of the vibe I got from this trailer. I thought the action scenes looked real good.
Yeah, I agreed there too.
A lot of fast spin kicking.
And like there's like one fight scene that's like there's like water, like rain and shit, like splashing everywhere. That looked
real good.
I'm like, this looks solid as hell.
I wonder if that was a reshoot scene.
A Chad Stahelski edition?
It could have been because it looks like they start off in the store and then they end up in the... I don't know. Could be. Well, either way, whoever directed that, like, kudos to them.
Looks solid. Again, like, visually good looking. I like the colors. I like the production design.
You know what I'll say? This is kind of a weird take. Maybe this will be okay because it's not tricking us.
Yeah.
Because Suicide Squad looked amazing from the trailer.
Yeah.
And then we were horribly disappointed. At least this way, if this turns out either really bad or really good... It's like, oh yeah, I could
see either way.
Yeah, I could see either way, and I really don't know. And here's a weird thing. So once I got past the whole like, that's not like the comics. How dare you make Cassandra Cain talk, you son of a bitch!
Low key actually made me mad. I'm like, oh god.
No, exactly. It made me mad too. But once I was like, all right, fuck it. I give up. I'm done with like caring. Just let's watch the trailer with an open mind again. As I watched it a couple more times, I came around.
Yeah?
A little bit. But I'm still at that I'm not sure phase. Not came around like, it's clearly going to be good. No. It's like, all right, Alex, come on. Like, this could be okay.
Well, you won't have to wait too long, because this comes out February 7th, which is like 3.5 months away, 3-ish months. 3 or 4 months away. Yeah. That's weird. They've kind of done a weird thing where it's like, I saw the trailer for this, and I'm like, oh, I get to see this very soon, you know, instead of like, what the fuck trailer or like Venom, which didn't turn out very well. But like, we got the trailer for that like the January before it came out in October. Yeah. Like, fuck. Come on, man. And you didn't even show us Venom in it. Yeah. But yeah, this isn't too far. And hopefully it pans out better than that Tom Hardy vehicle.
Certainly. I don't know. They're like the humor in the trailer, see, that's the kind of thing is like Harley Quinn, even though Margot Robbie's done a pretty good job in the role, there's a couple lines that are just awful. Like in this and in Suicide Squad. Like I remember in the first trailer, it was the one thing I lied to myself about the trailer. It's bad guys. It's what we do. Mm-hmm. Like that's a stupid line. Mm-hmm. And then in this, I was kind of like, I'm Harley freaking Quinn. Me and the Joker broke up. See? Yeah, it's like, shut up, I don't care.
For me, the narration was like the stuff I'm like, this isn't very good. Everything like in camera, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It kept flipping back and forth between things I thought were like awful and then really funny. Like the one I liked was, oh, we should make pizza and make
a slumber party.
Yeah, it's like, Harley, focus.
Yeah, that was funny. That's a Harley Quinn thing to do. Yes,
I felt like that's a Harley Quinn thing to do. Mm-hmm. And it felt like, that's like
cartoony.
Yeah, but that felt like that's part of her character.
Right.
But not in the like, oh, this only appeals to the people who read the recent runs.
Right.
Like, I felt like that's like classic Harley.
Yeah. And I'm willing to see more.
All right, yeah. You know what, fuck it. I'm in.
Oh yeah. I'm definitely in. I'm
on the middle though. I'm walking a fine line.
Need another trailer?
No.
No?
Actually, fuck it. I'll probably watch the next trailer, which I normally don't. Actually, no, fuck it.
No?
God damn it, no. Stay strong.
All right, I hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll do it. Looks okay. Mm-hmm. We'll find out soon enough.
Yes, we shall.
Moving on to other gigantic mega franchises. Spider-Man is back at Disney. Sony bitched out. I can't. I'm so disappointed in them. I thought they were gonna, say, nah, fuck that, brah. We're gonna start our own band.
To be clear, we're not upset that Spider-Man is back with Disney because of that. We're not even upset. Like, I don't really care. I kind of half-heartedly thought this was even going to be real to begin with. Like, I almost fooled myself. I'm like, maybe it's for real. But then I forgot what studio we're dealing with here. Sony.
I really thought they had grown up, had gotten the nerve to do it. But I was wrong.
Because they lost the fucking PR war. They got raked over the coals, and they felt the pain, man. So they kowtowed. They genuflected to the mouse. And now they are making, or what is it again? The new deal?
So the original deal that Disney proposed was 50-50. That Marvel, or that Disney would put up half the money for the budget and all that, and marketing, and then they'd get 50% of the take. When the deal at the time was something like $5.95.
Right.
So, like, Marvel was getting a little chunk. Mm-hmm. Or Disney was getting a little chunk, but mostly Sony was getting the profit. They told them to fuck off when they suggested 50-50. So now, though, they've renegotiated it so that it's a 25-75 split. 25 to Marvel / Disney, 75 to Sony. Mm-hmm. Which, man, I really thought they were gonna do it, but no.
No.
They caved in.
They did. That sucks. It sucks on principle. I mean, it's not a bad offer. It's not like the difference between 5% and 25% isn't that bad. But again, it's the principle of the matter.
I just wanted to see what would happen if it's like, what are you going to do now, fuckers? Oh, you don't have Spider-Man.
Yeah. Now, I mean, basically, we're just upset because the net result...
we'll have to do a movie of a character we haven't seen 7 times.
Pretty much.
Or like not delay Black Panther... or like wasn't that what happened?
I don't know. Yeah, they've delayed it in favor of Spider-Man: Homecoming. It was supposed to be Black Panther.
Yeah,
but no, it's the principle of the matter. It's the fact that the net result of this is that Disney is going to make more money. Like that's what basically this whole thing ended up to be, and that sucks because Disney is very wealthy right now. They're doing very well, and
they're not hurting.
No, so them making more money. When the
streaming wars start and a bunch of them fail, you know who's not? Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, you know what? No, there's no hope.
Yeah, to hell with this.
I'm kidding, but
No, I mean...
it's just,
I'm just so done with this Spider-Man series, and I wanted to see what a large overhaul would do to make it better or worse.
Mm-hmm. To see... Oh, I get what you mean.
It's just so bland. Like, the action is just like... Okay, let's make sure that no one, like, actually looks like they're in danger. It's just like, God... A little more intensity.
Yeah, no, I get you. I think... That's the other thing too that we mentioned already is that Sony already made the best Spider-Man movie ever.
Yeah.
Or they made all of the best Spider-Man movies ever. Spider-Man 1, 2, and Into the Spider-Verse.
And Into the Spider-Verse, even though it was like targeted to like younger kids because it's PG, it still had better fight scenes.
Yeah.
And you were allowed to like actually fucking throw a punch. Jesus.
Oh man, and there's like it's like no joke fight scenes. There's a fight scene in a house and they destroy the house.
It's great.
Aunt May's house.
Yeah. Talk about fighting in a phone booth.
It's amazing. It's an amazing
great.
scene. It's an amazing movie. We'll see what happens, though, for Spidey in the future.
Well, he's going to stick around. So basically, fuck it.
No pun intended.
Yeah, fuck it, Black Widow, and maybe Shang-Chi, but fuck the rest. That's still where I'm at.
All right. Well, what's the next story on this glowing day of a podcast?
This one's actually okay.
Okay.
All right. We're going to try to end on some positive notes. There's a trailer out for a movie called The Shed, and it's out on November 15th, or so it says. It's a simple premise. It's about this guy. Well, it starts off kind of like, I've seen this a million times. Oh, I want that girl who's way hot and out of my league. And then she's like, I like you anyway, weird kid. And then there's bullies, and he's sick of the bullies, and he discovers that there's a demon in his shed. So what does he think? What does his friend suggest he does? Get all of the people who've been, doing him wrong, tell them to go in the shed. So I think it's kind of a funny premise, and I like the idea. It's like a discovery. What do you do with it?
Yeah, I like the tone a lot, and it looks surprisingly well done, well produced, considering I've never heard of any of it or the production companies behind it, really, and... this reminds me a little bit of I was trying to think of what it reminded me of, and I know there's something
Evil
else.
Dead a little bit.
Evil Dead a little bit of Death Note, where it's you discover a high schooler discovers the power to remove bad people from the world, and it's an interesting
Little Shop
concept.
of Horrors.
That's the other one too.
Bit,
where it's come down here, right this way, sir, to this murderous trap.
Let me lure you into this trap. Yeah.
Yes, Little Shop of Horrors a lot actually. But yeah, this looks solid.
This looks like a cool movie. Just thought I'd throw that out there. So check out the trailer for The Shed. Coming to probably not a theater near you, because who the fuck knows where these come out anymore. Just look for it on demand in iTunes, probably.
Yeah.
November 15th.
Yes.
God, isn't that great ad copy? Who the fuck knows? Probably iTunes. Anyway, if they really did commercials
that's
the
new iTunes logo or motto slogan.
Oh, excuse me. iTunes is going to be no more.
Yeah, it's all about Apple Music.
Apple Music, and I don't know what the hell they're doing with the movies.
I don't know either.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with iTunes for now. Moving on to our last story. Len Wiseman has been selected to direct The Ballerina, which is a John Wick spinoff. All right, so Len Wiseman has directed... most notably, two of the greatest feature films of all time. I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
No, I don't blame you.
Underworld and Underworld Evolution.
Those are fun movies.
Classics.
Oh, yeah. Great action movies.
I think Martin Scorsese would say that those are truly cinema.
No, I think there's something to be said there. No, but he also directed a little movie called A Good Day to Die Hard. Or
no, he did Live Free.
He did Live Free
How
or
dare
Die
you.
Hard. Good Day to Die Hard was John Moore, who's not a good director.
Yeah,
but Len Wiseman did Live Free or Die Hard, a PG-13 fucking Die Hard movie.
And it was really solid.
It's the second best one.
I agree. It was very clever in terms of like, see, that's what I say, like shooting the car at the helicopter. That's the kind of stuff where I always argue with people about this. Mm-hmm. Action is its own type of art.
Yeah.
Sure, it's not as, it's like pop art compared to like impressionism or whatever the other smart people art bullshit's called.
Right.
As you can tell, I'm very sophisticated, but yeah, whatever them smart people paintings is called.
So he's directing this.
Yes.
And I know you have an interesting take on what this means for John Wick.
See, now, as I said, action is like pop art. Mm-hmm. But John Wick is the best of the best right now. So I have a problem with this for a number of reasons. Even though I think this could turn out okay, because Len Wiseman is a competent director and has made 3 movies I really enjoyed. Mm-hmm. But he's not Chad Stahelski.
No.
And Chad Stahelski is, as I said, top of the game at this type of action movie. And when you're having anyone who's not as up to the task, what's the point?
Yeah, I get that for sure.
My second problem, I think you'd agree with this, is we were already disappointed that John Wick 3 wasn't the end. Mm-hmm. Because it seemed like trilogies are kind of logical. It's like, number 1, you learn John Wick. Number 2, John Wick pisses off the high table. John Wick 3, he confronts the high table. But no, he runs errands. Then John Wick 4, he confronts the high table. Maybe.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, why can't we just leave well enough alone and just end a series when it's good? Because I felt like John Wick was going to be that. You know? I thought, oh, they'll definitely end it at 3 because even though this is, blockbuster kind of.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
But it's like I thought it was going to avoid the franchise pitfalls. We need a spinoff and a prequel and this and that. And we're there. We have a TV show and now we got this. Mm-hmm. That's my issue with this.
No, I get you. And I think the problem, or where I'm coming from with this is like I'm a little bit more resigned, where it's like I completely agree with everything you're saying, and I think if I had my druthers, this movie would have been done, or this franchise would have been done in 3 movies. Right. But I think for me, it's just kind of like, well, I guess if we're gonna do a fucking spinoff, which I don't want, Len Wiseman isn't a bad choice. Like, he's a good action filmmaker. He's not. It's a downgrade from Chad Stahelski, but it's like, yeah, sure. If we're gonna do this, fine, we can do it like this. But still, it's like I have to. There's a lot of buts in there, man, and that's sucks.
My problem. So if there's all of these ifs and buts and all that shit, like that's that kind of spells it out right there. That it's just not going to be as good. So why fucking bother? Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying.
Hopefully it's really good. Hopefully it ends up being better than John Wick, at least 3.
It could, maybe.
It's possible. Of the 3 movies we have so far, that's the one that has the best shot of being better than. Because 3 is like...
3 just has a few glaring problems.
Yeah, it's not horrible or bad even.
No, it's not. It's
or
just
even mediocre. It's really good.
When you fall like 900 stories, even in the John Wick universe, I'm sorry. Like
you die.
Yeah, that's I'm sorry.
And you hit every goddamn fire escape level on the way down. No, you're right, and I think.
Well, no. The thing was when he hit the 100th rung on the ladder, it actually recalibrated his vertebrae that we thought were broken. Okay.
Oh my god. Yeah. No. It's Hopefully this ends up well.
Right. If this ends up good, then we'll quit our complaining.
Right.
That's all we want. We just want it to be good.
Sure.
All right. So that'll do it for the news. Now we move on to the review portion, where we start off with our review of Ad Astra. So, This is a movie about Brad Pitt going into space to find his dad. And he plays, I don't remember his name.
It's like
something generic.
Roy McBride.
Roy McBride. And he's going to find his dad.
Clifford.
Clifford in Neptune. Mm-hmm. And, so that's pretty much the plot. Mm-hmm. And I'll start with my gut reaction. This was easily one of the biggest disappointments of the year so far. A few small, short shots of... not small, but a few short shots of spectacular visuals can't save dull storytelling.
I get that. I see, the thing about this movie with me is like everything that I've heard everybody say about it is true. Like everybody's like, yeah, it's slow. And I'm like, yep. Yeah, it's a little pretentious.
That's literally my first note on this sheet right here. It says, this movie is slow with a bunch of O's.
It is a slow burn. But okay, when I say I liked it a lot, that doesn't mean I don't get why people didn't or thought it was boring. Because I totally do. And it's not a movie for everybody. There's shit in it that doesn't make sense. There's shit in it that's weird and goofy. Yeah. But I don't know, I kind of dug it. And I can't explain entirely what it is. I like how much... This is basically Apocalypse Now in space. Like, let's just
I noticed that comparison, except Apocalypse Now is a great fucking movie, and this is...
Oh, it's better, but there's stuff in... There's scientific concepts in this, and there's just concepts in general.
I almost fell asleep twice.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Ad Astra. More like Ad Ass Suck.
Oh.
No, yeah, I know. It's like...
That was good.
I was up all night thinking of it. I'm glad it went well.
I'd give it the same rating as this movie.
I'd actually give that joke about the same rating I'd give this movie, too. I thought it was a pretty shitty joke. No, but like that's my biggest problem is whatever good that there was, the pacing is a serious issue. Like, and part of that's because there's really only 3 or 4 plot points that matter or go anywhere. Mm-hmm. We'll save some of this for spoilers, but there's a major detour that includes an action sequence, and it's completely unnecessary.
Okay.
And that happens a couple times where you're like, I guess that was kind of cool, but it takes away from it being cool because it didn't end up mattering towards the plot, really.
Sure.
And, I mean, the only genre I think gets away with that, that didn't really matter to the plot, is like comedy. Because sometimes there'll be a scene like, that was unnecessary. It's like, who gives a shit? It was funny.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's just a little easier to get something out of detours in comedy, but detours in action and sci-fi, generally speaking, don't work. They can sometimes, but here it especially didn't and felt out of place almost.
I thought they were... See, where with comedies you'd say, well, that was out of place and weird, but it was funny. For me, I was more along the lines of, well, that was out of place, but it was at least a cool scene. You know, like, and that's kind of where the Apocalypse Now comparisons come in again for me, is like, there are a lot of scenes in Apocalypse Now, like that fucking scene where they go to like that one camp that's just like fucked and there's like fireworks going off and shit and like people are like in a fucking daze. It's like, really don't need that scene, but it's a good fucking scene.
Yeah.
So, again, I totally get it, and I this movie is weird in that regard, and it's not very focused narrative, but I kind of dug it in a weird way.
But like that's the problem is it does that kind of constantly.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of detours.
There's at least 4.
There's one that is laughable. I laughed out loud when I saw it in the theaters, and I'll explain that in spoilers. Another thing, Brad Pitt's performance just was kind of wooden and boring, and I get that. But his character's supposed to be stoic. But the problem is that it didn't really come across that way. If that's what he was going for, it was kind of like, what a dullard. I don't want to follow this guy around, and that's especially disappointing after his turn at Cliff Booth in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Sure.
Which was a much better performance. Mm-hmm. As I said, some of the outer space visuals were really fantastic, but they was only for fleeting little moments.
I don't think there's a shot in this that looks bad, which is saying a lot.
Which brings me to another point, is that good cinematography doesn't always save a movie. Like, this movie was a prime example. You could have great cinematography or have really good shots and still have a movie that, well, at least my view, is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, again, that's where the subjectivity comes in, because like there's a lot of dialogue in this that's not good. But like for me,
God, you mean all the narration?
For me, it was like 60-40. I could take or leave a lot of the narration, but
I couldn't
a lot of
stand
it was
any of it.
See, for me, as I was watching this, like they could say whatever they could recite the lyrics to "We Built This City," subliminally speaking, and I would just be like, look at stars. Look at is that Pluto? Look at those. Look at that. Like
it drifted back and forth between bad parody-esque film noir and like doing a little too much of the telling instead of showing. Mm-hmm. That's my problem with this narration. Mm-hmm. It's like, and then I went up and got a glass of water. And gets up, gets a glass of water. And then I sat down and thought, man, Boston's first album is kick-ass. Then he's like looking at a poster of Boston. Okay, he doesn't do any of that. But my point is, it's just like, it's like, show, don't tell. Mm-hmm. This is boring. Mm-hmm. And I got that, yes, there are definitely some themes of the isolation of space and all that. Like, I understand that. But theme can't carry a script. And I feel like that's something that happens a lot in movies is there's things that are conceptually strong and do come across. But you still have to make the point A to point B of getting there interesting. And
True.
To me, I got the idea of the isolation of space as a theme or whatever. And I understood that they were trying to get that across. Mm-hmm. But I was just bored out of my goddamn mind.
I get that.
Like, this movie was supremely boring to me. Like, really, really boring. So, do you want to just move on to spoilers?
Sure.
All right. I'm talking about the moon battle. Like, what the hell was that?
That's a great fucking scene, man.
That was, like, the only scene that was, like,
Wasn't that cool? Like, I just
kind of, but it just felt like, what the hell was the point of that other than to take Donald Sutherland's character to be like, oh, can't make it, bro. I got hurt in the moon battle. Those moon bandits who we really never see again.
I think it was just to establish like the kind of world that we're in. It's like this is a world where like there's like established colonies on the moon and like roving bands of pirates. Really, I mean it's
but you could have cut that out entirely.
Then the movie would have been even more boring for you.
That's true.
And like there wouldn't have been that dope ass scene.
That kind of is
them.
a problem. Is if you have the one scene that's any good could have been cut out and it didn't matter. That's kind of a flaw to me.
Sure. Again, this is like a weird Rorschach test where I feel like most people are going to look at this and see like, yeah, this is just really slow and dull. And that's probably what the majority of people felt about this, and I get it. But there's a select few people who are like, I don't know what's wrong with me, and that's me, like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just dug it. I dug how cerebral and like weirdly like quiet and subtle and guarded it was. But that's not saying it's an objectively like amazing movie and that everybody who doesn't like it is wrong for doing it.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying like for all the things it did right, it did far more things wrong in my view.
Sure.
Okay, so talking of what they did wrong, the fucking monkeys.
I love that scene.
That was terrible. It's like, is this supposed to be comedic? I laughed, and the CGI on those monkeys looked terrible.
Yeah, that was probably the worst CGI in the movie.
Yeah, which is a problem because, as I said, the one thing this movie didn't do wrong, for the most part, is just the general visuals of things. The outer space stuff was really good.
Holy God.
It's like they wanted to erase everything, like, they wanted to cancel out everything they did well. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, okay, we've got stunning visuals. All right, let's add monkeys in a space station who are eating people for no reason to cancel out anything good about this movie. Let's just add stupid bullshit.
Well, like, you know why the monkeys were there, right?
They're test animals or whatever? Yeah, like, I get that.
But, like, that
who cares?
Seems feasible.
Why did that need to happen?
I don't know. Why did why did there need to be a puppy that got thrown into the river in Apocalypse Now? Like, there's just a bunch of random shit in that movie, too.
I don't even remember that shit.
Which version did you see?
I don't know. I think I saw the Redux.
Oh, I don't know if that's in there. Okay. But anyway, it's like, there's a lot of shit that's just like, it's not there because it's important to the main tension of the movie. It's just there because, like, it adds to the tone, it adds to the tension.
See, I was waiting for them to go into the next room and find some giraffes or some skunks.
Dude, that's like...
Oh no, we found the skunks.
Yeah.
They feel threatened.
We found the skunk ship. Get the fuck out.
Oh. Yeah, but I don't know. That was just kind of meh. Mm-hmm. The story about Tommy Lee Jones' character fighting off a mutiny, that kind of sounded like a better movie to me. And sounded like a more interesting story.
Sure.
You know? Like the idea that this guy's crazy and everyone's like, we gotta do a mutiny. Like, them, again, it was that telling, not showing kind of deal. And I know that there's a way to do that effectively in storytelling, to have something happen off screen. Like Reservoir Dogs. You don't see the robbery at all. Mm-hmm. But the characters are so compelling and interesting. It's like, who cares about the not seeing the robbery? Mm-hmm. That's almost an afterthought. Here, I thought all the things they talk about doing or happened in the past, I thought, that would have been a cool scene, or better yet, that would have been a better movie.
Sure. I get that too. It's there's something about like them walking into the aftermath of like that ship and then just like imagining what happened, like you said with Reservoir Dogs, that I thought was a bit effective. But I do get that point too, where it's like, it would have been interesting to see it go down instead of imagine it.
My problem is it's a little too late. Mm-hmm. I've just been bored to death by I can't even remember what in the hell happens in this. There's so few developments.
It's a weird movie, man.
One, he gets electrocuted on the thing. The gigantic space station, survives. Goes to the moon, then goes to Mars, then goes to Neptune. And it's just like, nothing happens in between the things I've said that's noteworthy or interesting besides the relaxation room where...
Oh, I love that.
It was funny. There's a couple people next to me, and I guess she must have missed something where Ruth Nega's character explains what it is. But the lady next to me, she said, I don't understand what's going on. Where is he?
Oh.
I felt like if you didn't pay attention, you could get because there's so little to pay attention to for so long. If you miss something, you're like, oh shit, what was that? You just get lost. Let's see. Well, part where Tommy Lee Jones' character agrees to come back with Brad Pitt, and it seemed like rather obvious he was going to turn on him.
Oh yeah.
Like, of all the things that this movie, after dragging scene after scene out far too long, what's the scene where they make it super short? Dad, you gotta come back with me. Okay. Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, it's like
that seems like a rather large turning point. It's one of the developments. Mm-hmm. Goes to Neptune, nothing happens. Dad, we gotta go home. Okay.
Well, I mean,
even though I'm clearly batshit crazy.
Yeah, he says it there's at least 2 beats where he's like, "No, I don't want to fucking come," and he's
no,
like,
I don't want.
You have to.
Okay.
I mean, he does.
No, I'm good. Let's go.
Well, then he kills himself.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Well, this is a spoiler section.
This is a spoiler section. Yeah. So fuck it. Go ahead and tell him things that actually happen.
He kills himself. Yeah. And Brad lets him go because he's like, "Fuck you, Dad. You're not very nice because you're too obsessed with developing humanity into something that'll probably never be instead of your own family."
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I liked about the movie too, is this felt like a fucking bizarro Interstellar, where it's like, no, our future's not in the fucking stars. The stars suck. It's cold.
It's like there's nothing out there, there's no aliens, there's nothing left to discover.
Yeah, you gotta fucking stay on Earth, motherfucker. And
it's like, I thought that part was kind of cool, but the thing that I thought was the absolute goddamn worst about this movie is...
Slow boat to China?
What? Yeah. How so?
Well, it's just very slow. It's very slow to get to that point.
Well, that's the thing, is it's a long walk off a short bridge just to say, oh, cop out, love is all you really need. What a shitty wild goose chase. She gets home, the wife who we've barely seen and don't give a shit about at all. Mm-hmm. Her character's barely there. Now I'm supposed to care? Thanks, garbage version of Interstellar. I thought it would have been a lot cooler if it was I don't know, just Brad Pitt's character and he went crazy and then he dies just trying to search and it's like a cautionary tale or something. I thought a tragic ending seemed more in line with his character because he's just like, I'm a dick, I don't have emotions, I'm made of wood, derp-de-derp. Either that or have him die in space and be like, oh, I fucked up. Oh, I should have been there. Like, I don't know. I just thought tragic ending would have worked a little bit better.
Sure.
What
could have been.
Also, real quick, that zero grab fight, awful.
Really?
That was like the Gorn fight, but underwater.
Oh, I mean, I'd imagine it's hard to fight in 0G.
Yeah. I like how he just slips on the ship, too. He's just like, oh, no, it's cool, bro. I can just slip through this rocket, you know.
Stows away.
Yeah, just stows away on a goddamn rocket. That seems a little difficult. Mm-hmm. And he's just like, oh, no, you just take off this one panel, bro, and you just slip in. It's easy. And they totally don't notice during takeoff.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was just not a big fan of this movie.
I get it.
So I guess we'll move on to score. You got anything left to say?
No, I'm mostly just all the reasons you brought up. For some reason, I have no fucking idea why. There were a lot of the pros I had. Like, I really like the deliberate pace. You
like the fact that the last scene has no impact because her character, whoever his wife is.
Which scene?
When he just like shows up, it's like, hey babe, I'm back.
Well,
that has zero impact. It's like that had so little to do with what the movie was.
Well, I think it does because it's about Brad Pitt. The whole movie is about Brad Pitt trying to like not be a fucking cold bastard, and like he does that by trying to pursue his demons, which is his dad. He's got daddy issues, and in doing so, he realized that his dad doesn't really fucking want him, and he, in this process of kind of coming to grips with his own daddy issues and his own resentment of his own father, he kind of just stops being. He opens up as a human being and realizes, well, fuck, this is kind of the cause of all the issues I've been having in every part of my life, so I might as well just go back home and start over.
Well, if that's the case, it's not
super satisfying.
Yeah,
because we don't see anything about Liv Tyler.
Exactly. If that's the case, then they should have made that a bigger part of the plot, not just like, whoa, this is a science fiction movie. Psych, it's about love. It's always about love. Love is all you need.
Yeah.
It's horse shit. That is horribly done.
I definitely get it.
I could not, I don't know. I thought that scene was super ineffective at the end. Mm-hmm. I get the whole like, oh, don't be a cold bastard. There's other ways to make a movie about that. Like making it about like some boring like stockbroker or some like basic ass shit like that. Don't make a science fiction movie and be like, but all he needed was to hug his wife every now and then.
Yeah, I get that.
This is that's like fucking like seems like an episode of the Brady Bunch. Yeah, I hated this movie. So move on to scores.
Yes,
I'm gonna give it a 1.5. Really hated it. I thought it was far too slow of a slow burn with a horrible payoff. So 1.5 from me.
I gave it an 8. I really dug it. It's not like any other movie that you'll see in the theaters, and that might be a bad thing for you or for anybody. And I totally get that too. People find it pretentious and very guarded and ineffective and just not overly satisfactory or satisfying. I don't know what to say. I greatly admired how weirdly offbeat and subdued it was and how eccentric it was. Yeah. Having just seen Apocalypse Now, I don't know, maybe it's because I saw Apocalypse Now for the first time like a month ago, and I was like, oh wow, this is just like Apocalypse Now. So I gave it an 8. I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And it looks fucking good. Holy shit.
I feel like we're 2 bad movies away from them just never making an original script again.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like this is super original. It's pretty damn close to being Apocalypse Now.
I just meant not. See, I don't give a shit about. It's similar to this. Like I don't care about. I just meant not.
Oh, not an IP
book or any of that bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll do it for our review of Space. Another boring bullshit.
And now we move on to our review of Joker, the 2019 dark reimagining of the classic comics character by road trip director Todd Phillips, also director of Old School and The Hangover.
Now, to be fair, he also directed the G.G. Allen documentary.
That's true, and War Dogs.
Yeah.
The recent War Dogs.
Who knew?
Who knew? Look, it was no secret going into this, at least between you and me, that this was my most anticipated movie for the rest of this year. The trailers had me. The pictures and photos and buzz had me. And just from gut reactions, it's a dogfight right now between this and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for my favorite movie of the year.
Well, Robert, I hate saying this, but I agree with you. I'm 100%. Those are my... Well...
That's interesting coming from you because I know you were skeptical going into this.
I was very skeptical of this because I was kind of like, I don't want to hear this bullshit like, oh, we're going to do a character study, man, because this is high art. I'm like, no, it fucking isn't. And then I was like, well, I'll be a son of a bitch. You got me.
This is so goddamn good.
Yeah.
In the worst and best ways.
Yes.
It's so fucking deeply unsettling, visceral, and and yet impossible to turn away from, and mind-searingly horrific, yet emotional and thematically resonant and well performed. I cannot help but include it amongst my favorites of the whole year, and I still cannot fucking believe that Todd Phillips made this. I don't believe you. I don't fucking believe you made this. It didn't happen.
Who knew, right?
What the fuck, dude? Oh my God. No way. There's no way you made this.
that you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. I just still can't believe this got made and got made for a wide audience.
Yeah, and
let me just start off by saying anyone who takes their kids to this, you're a bad fucking parent.
Yeah, you're like a few characters depicted in this movie, to say the least. Dude, fucked up beyond all recognition. Yeah. It is something else, and it's...
Yeah,
you get why Todd Phillips had to take an entire year to convince Warner Brothers to let him make this shit. The shit they do in this is like, wow. It's honestly starting to grow as there's no doubt in my mind this is a comic book movie.
Oh, fuck that. It's not a comic book movie.
It's this has to be one of the greatest undertakings any creative team has ever had to assume as far as comic book movies are concerned. And as far as what's discussed in this fucking movie. They somehow made a movie that's more realistic than The Dark Knight. I never fucking thought I would ever say that. Now, it's not better than The Dark Knight, but it's more real than The Dark Knight. That's so fucking weird to say. That's so weird.
That's because this wasn't a comic book movie, and this doesn't take away from the quality of the movie. Mm-hmm. But I guess if there's any detractor, isn't it kind of annoying that this is what it takes for us to see a movie like this?
Oh, it has to have an IP.
It has to have an IP, and Todd Phillips knew that. He did that. He's like, I'm going to trick all you motherfuckers.
He gamed us.
He done fooled us. And you know what? I'm kind of glad he did.
Yeah.
But this is a thing that I've kind of grown to accept, kind of like with Child's Play, which wasn't even close to this. But I thought that movie was serviceable, plenty good. Mm-hmm. But because Joker and Batman are they're essentially
they're embedded in... They're like the Christ and Satan of Western civilization and modern society. In ways.
They're... Not to say that the writing is on the same level, but they're Shakespeare level of fictional characters.
Foils
or
to each other.
What I usually call Dracula level.
Yeah, dude.
To me, Dracula is just that thing where it's been done a bunch of times and there's been a lot of different takes and people have their views this takes the best. No, that takes the best. This movie is just crazy. I just can't... I understand there's a lot of takes, but that's the thing is, I always hate when people say, well, my take is this. I'm like, bullshit, your take is probably going to be lame. But you know what? I was wrong this time.
You know what the thing is?
I was glad I was.
You know what the thing is, too, is, part of the reason why it's I would say it's it has to be included amongst the best of the years. Look around you. You can't swing a fucking cat without striking someone who has thoughts about this movie and its meanings and its implications. And
it's making waves.
For all of this to emanate out of a movie that's based on a fucking comic book character is it's amazing, and in the best way, no matter how exhausting, some of the discussions have been. It's so fucking crazy that this movie made fucking $250 $30 million in its opening weekend. It made more money overseas, and it only cost $50 million to fucking make.
And it's just, look at the subject matter. And,
oh my God.
But you know what? I think it's good that we have a movie where this and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like, hey, audiences do want other things besides whatever, I know we just keep ragging on the same bullshit. No, I don't like the big blockbuster. But
no, I get you.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just something else is occasionally nice as well.
Yeah, like in an age where every comic book movie is compared to and like contrasted with every other iteration from its own canon, other canons, etc. It's like, I get why there's fatigue.
Right.
This is an antidote.
Right.
To that fatigue in many ways.
All right, and you want to know what I think a large part of that was?
Who dat?
This movie was basically a horror movie.
Holy shit, I was going to say, I'm like, this is the most frightening fucking movie I've seen all year.
Yeah, this movie honestly...
I'm glad it is.
Dude, it honestly freaked me the fuck out.
It's terrifying.
Because I saw this twice. In between, I had to go see Abominable. Not in the same day, but...
Just as a change of pace?
I was just like, I just need to see something happy and, like, normal.
Dude, no lie, and, like, this sounds like... I'm a millennial. Yeah. I don't like fucking hyperbole, but when I'm about to... I don't know how else to convey what I'm going to say, which is... Dude, there was a point in this movie where, like, I was shaking. Like, I was nervous. I was really fucking nervous. Like, it just put me in a place that was really gross, but, like...
Oh, dude,
I felt...
Yeah, I had, like... the butterflies in my stomach. This movie was making my fucking heart pound. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is insane.
But like again, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the more I thought about it in retrospect on the car ride home, in the week after, I'm like, fuck, that was good. That did exactly what it needed to do. Yeah.
So, you know what this felt like? To put that kind of feeling that you got from this type of movie? This is basically like someone made Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer for a mainstream audience.
You're absolutely right.
Because that movie is even more disturbing than this. It's also a very good movie.
Yeah.
However, that was made for less than $500,000, was probably played at just little festivals, maybe smaller theaters. This is like not on that level of disturbing, but
it's close.
It's close to being as disturbing. And guess what? That level of crazy shit was released to a wide release mainstream audience.
By a big 5 or big 4 studio.
Yeah, whatever the hell.
It is
since
now.
Disney just keeps eating them all up.
Right. Yeah, it's
like, oh, nope, hold on. I'm looking up right now. No, okay, there's 2 studios. I'm kidding. Anyway, yeah. No, that is really cool that they're willing to take this chance.
You're given a movie where the protagonist is, from minute 1, you're like, something's wrong. Like,
he's not really a protagonist.
Yeah, he's an anti-hero. You're like, I don't like this guy.
It's like another movie, it was an Australian movie called Simon the Ugly. Or I think it was just called The Ugly. Simon was the dude. Yeah, so it's like that, Henry. Like, you're not... And that was one of the things, is like a lot of people are trying to say, like, this glorifies... what I disagree with that entirely, because I think what makes this movie interesting is Arthur, the main character, who becomes Joker. It kind of shows you just because shitty things happen to you does not give you the right to lash out.
And
or at least that's at least one of the messages I thought.
To quote another reviewer, one Mark Kermode said, "Pity is not the same as empathy."
Yeah, that was one thing I thought was interesting is, without giving too much away, at the start of the movie, he's sympathetic for about 10 or so minutes. But eventually, as things go on, it's the way he handles himself and reacts to the world around him, where regardless if it's his fault or not, eventually he becomes irredeemable.
There's one very clear moment, and it's the first act turning point in the movie.
Yeah.
Where Arthur does a thing. We won't tell you what it is.
But spoilers.
He crosses a line, and he does something that makes him not a likable character anymore. And you're like, oh, okay, I see where we're going with this. And I think the movie very elegantly straddles the line between showing you, like, yes, we're going to show you this movie from his point of view, and we're going to show you all of these environmental exterior factors that have shaped Arthur into being this character, but it also doesn't shy away from saying, no, this dude has agency. He is committing these wrongs by his own will.
Right. And, that's just part of this. This movie has just has a catharsis to it.
Dude, it's a high wire act of like moral pyrotechnics and like just unbelievable. Like, we got to talk about Joaquin.
Well, I mean, yeah, we'll get there.
Oh my word!
I'm just still like this movie. It's just like stranger than fiction that got made.
It's
the
movie leading up to the movie is a story in and of itself.
Well, I mean, but just to talk about some general things in the plot before we get to Joaquin, and I think he's a big part of this actually.
Oh yeah.
Since it's a slow burn that takes its time, but it's done right because what happens is the developments pile up.
Yes.
Much like the garbage in Gotham City since they're on strike, man. No, I'm just kidding. But the developments pile up, and they just get worse and worse and darker and darker. And yeah, so simply put, this movie was not playing around.
No.
Yeah. Cinematography was really good too.
Holy God, it looks so fucking sleek and
you wanna
dirty.
You want to know why the cinematography was really on point? It had that extra thing where it helps tell the story. Because I feel like that's people get too caught up in, oh, it looks good, it's sleek or whatever. But a lot of times I'm like, yeah, but did that help the story, like move along the story?
Yeah, there's
there's a lot of shots in this.
Yeah.
There's one I really, really like that I'll bring up in spoilers.
I was going to say, there's a couple I got to talk about in spoilers where I'm like, the way this scene is shot is fucking amazing.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's the kind of things where, you know, they work together. The cinematography and the script and all that shit comes together. They mesh.
Right.
Instead of it just feeling like, oh, the cinematography, it's just like, oh, we shot it and it looks nice. Like it helped, it
helped build the character to the environment.
Yes, it enhanced the story. So yeah, it helps tell the story rather than make it look pretty. So basically, this movie just gave no fucks at all. It's completely unflinching. And there's one general point I'll make before we move on to non-spoilers. I liked how there's points where like philosophical and ethical kind of things are discussed and even debated. But they're not resolved in a typical manner. And I think that's one of the things that I think this is one of the reasons this movie is kind of misunderstood is because the movie doesn't really follow the general tropes of morality. Like, well, if the character's a bad guy, this is what has to happen at A, B, and C scenes. And because the character's a good guy, this is what has to happen at this point and this point in the movie. It didn't follow that, but you had to kind of read between the lines.
Yeah.
So I liked it's like, I wouldn't say nihilist, but it's just like, well, here's a dose of reality. Sometimes things don't just like always work out in certain ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
fuck it. Let's move on to spoilers. All right. So
where do we begin?
Well, Joaquin.
God.
One thing from the get-go. Arthur's delusions are so uncomfortable.
Oh my God! Like that scene in the beginning with Robert De Niro where he's.
I can tell there's something special about you. It's
oh,
like,
thanks, Murray.
Man.
They hug. Oh, it's like something's wrong. Like that's one of the scenes in the first act where you're like, I don't like this. This is not a normal person. And like, I don't mean that disparagingly, but like these are not normal thought patterns. This is very, very self-absorbed and very narcissistic. And like you immediately know where this is going as soon as it starts.
It's almost like childish fantasy, though.
Yeah,
like that, like the lack of
lack of social understanding.
Right, exactly. It's like, you know what it reminded me of, like weirdly enough, little Ralphie Parker's fantasies in A Christmas Story, because like the point of those are like he's a kid, he's thinking. Like bullshit, of course he is. He's a kid. He's like 9 years old. Of course he's gonna think crazy stuff, or like like really exaggerate. Or sometimes like if a normal person will imagine shit like that, it's usually a daydream. There's like, yeah, that's funny. But Arthur seems so serious that he really thinks it'd be like that.
It's very much like a more serious version of something you'd call Rupert Pupkin-esque.
Oh God, yeah. That's the other thing. I heard a lot of people bitching about like, oh, this is a ripoff of this and that. It's like, first of all, shut the fuck up about this. Oh my God, there's two things in common with this movie with another movie.
Right.
Oh, it's a blatant ripoff.
Here's my rule with that too. It's like once you get past two movies, it's like then it's its own thing. Like people saying like, it's like Taxi Driver meets King of Comedy with a bit of Fight Club. It's like, no, then it's its own thing now.
Yeah.
Now you've crossed like, well,
Right.
it's literally plagiarism. It's like, no, it's different now. You made it a different thing.
We can't have two movies about a person who's a stand-up.
No, guess not.
we can't have two movies about some strange sort of uprising.
Yeah, or some person who's delusional, imagining characters and
Yeah, there you go.
All that noise. But
Right.
Joaquin, dude, yeah, the delusions are terrifying because it's just like this guy's not on the same wavelength as people.
Yeah,
there's something wrong with him.
Yeah. So again, to go back to what I was saying about earlier when we were talking non-spoilers about how the audience is tested in their ability to sympathize or pity and then sympathize and then like make it this like eventually you make the decision when he kills the dudes on Wall Street.
Yes.
And
specifically
the
final dude.
Yeah, because you thought,
okay, those two guys on the train.
The one guy was maybe self-defense.
Yeah, other guy,
and even,
whatever.
Even still,
then
it's like, yeah,
he fucking he tracks the guy down and executes him. And holy shit,
it's the way he walks and moves.
That scene,
it's like a man. He's possessed.
That scene is terrifyingly well shot. It's the angles of just like him stalking down the platform is like. It's so fucking haunting.
That shot where he like peeks out the car. Oh,
it is chilling, and
didn't something just like you felt like I don't know about you when I went the first night that I went, the first showing I saw, just like the air went cold for a second.
No, it's like it's weird. It became not entertainment in the best way, or like I'm watching an actual crime unfold.
Yeah,
there's something horrifying about it. Well, the manner, the not, and that's the other thing people are saying. Like, well, the violence is like glorifying. I'm like, what about this violence is glamorized?
Yeah, I was gonna say like the violence in this is actually extremely realistic.
Yeah, it's really gross.
Yeah,
you don't feel clean watching any of these people get hurt.
That's why like I felt like because again. Now, viewing 1, I watched Abominable. Viewing 2, I put on some Sonic.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
Put on some Sonic and some Hey Arnold. Like, I'm telling you, I just needed, like, I felt like my brains were, like, fucking kicked in after seeing this 2 times.
Yeah, dude, my stomach was in knots.
But I don't know why. I'm like, I feel like I need to see this again. Because I wanted to make sure it wasn't, like, a fluke and then I was caught off guard. I'm like, I need to see this again knowing what's going to happen.
How'd it go?
And it was basically the same reaction. It's like, this is not action movie violence.
No, it's
not at all.
It is absolutely, it's like we said, it's horror.
This is a horror movie. He's a serial killer, essentially.
Pretty much. Oh, man.
Yeah, but his performance in that scene, like the way he kind of walks with like dart, like very stiffly towards the guy. Yeah, the last guy before he kills him.
He's in his element. That's what's scary.
It's all of a sudden he becomes a predator.
He's found himself now, and he honestly, like people say, like he becomes the Joker in the final scene. I'm like, I think he becomes the Joker then when he fucking stalks that dude and executes him on the stairs.
Right.
Like that is the first moment where you. And that's the part where I don't understand some of the people who say, yeah, this movie makes you feel good about Arthur's choices. I'm like, that scene is not
I felt bad.
Fun to watch.
I felt bad for that guy, even though it's like, well, because this is the thing about like the movie and how it kind of poses ethics. Mm-hmm. Like throwing fries at someone is pretty awful. Mm-hmm. But do you deserve to be shot to death for that?
Exactly. No. And the other thing, and this is another existential issue that a lot of people have brought up, in that it's like, what the fuck did you expect the Joker origin movie to be? Like,
that's a good point, because it's like
what the Joker is. Like,
he is a murderer.
He's a mass murdering supervillain.
That's kind of what I thought was so interesting about this movie. It kind of took the idea, like, think about any like generic like Disney villain, like, ooh, I'm Maleficent, or like, I'm Jafar. It's like, if you're a bad guy, Jafar, it probably means you've killed a person or two. Right. Like that's what everyone forgets. Like, you maybe have like executed someone.
Right. This isn't the Cruella de Vil movie where we find out why she wants to murder fluffy dogs.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, but, those dogs were dicks to her, and they do deserve to die. It's like, no, this Joker movie, you're like, okay, so this guy's not a good dude.
No, and it's just like, it took the idea of a villain, and they're like, this is what a villain is. Mm-hmm. Just so you guys know, in case you had any doubts about what a villain truly is.
One of the things that we talked about beforehand was, why did this need to be a Joker/Batman mythos movie?
Right.
And I think I figured out why.
Why is that?
So one of the big issues in this movie that people had with it was there's no likable characters in it. And I completely disagree. You know who the only likable character is in this?
I got one.
Who?
Brian Tyree Henry.
He's great. But no, dude, the only likable character in this is Bruce Wayne. And the only reason why is because as soon as he shows up, you, being an American, not even American, a Western society person who knows that that's young Batman, you immediately identify with him. You're like, that's child Batman. So you immediately feel good about him. And you don't want to see shitty, bad things happen to him. And here's Arthur Fleck.
Right, you're worried about him.
You're worried about him. And, like, that whole element of, like, Arthur Fleck being a damaged child who was fucked up as a kid, turning into this monster that creates a monster that essentially damages another child and fucks him up, that child being Bruce Wayne,
right,
repeating the cycle of abuse and trauma. It's fucking amazing. And it lends for, not an entirely comic accurate, but a really neat, and I thought, fucking really brilliantly done reinterpretation of the origin of Batman.
Yeah.
I love that fucking scene with him and Bruce.
Yeah.
So chilling. It's, god damn it, I love it.
Because you're just like, oh my god, like,
get
everything
away
from him.
You're like, this is the beginnings of the greatest rivalry in the history of fucking comics, dude.
Yeah.
God, I love it.
No, and it's funny you mentioned that everyone's a dick. Is like, this movie kind of doesn't pick sides, and that's what I like. Is it's not so cut and dry. Mm. Like, there's some things that Arthur is not like right about, and it's that he goes about it completely the wrong way.
Right.
It's like, he shouldn't be bullied by people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he should, not be getting the shit kicked out of him for like
10 times a week.
Yeah, for spinning a sign.
Yeah.
Like, but guess what? That doesn't the way he goes about it and the way he handles it is wrong. Yeah, he should have a shrink that listens to him more.
Yeah.
But it's like, what the fuck? How do you know that she's not just as stressed as you are, Arthur?
Right.
She's got problems too. And guess what? The one person who tried to help you, Arthur, Tyree Henry, he tried, man. And that's out of his element. He's like, look, I'm just a paperwork guy. Like, I can't really do this. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, you should try and get help. Oh, well, they cut funding. At least he tried, which is more than, most people who work in clerical work would say to him. Like, I think the average would be like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Go away.
Yeah.
He tried to at least be nice to him.
Right.
But Arthur was unable to recognize that. Instead, his narcissism got the best. No, I need to see the file. I must see it. Mm-hmm. Then headbutts the goddamn the chicken wire that he's hiding behind. Mm-hmm. Or, not hiding, but working behind.
Right.
I kind of love that because I was thinking, Tyree Henry's a pretty big dude. I feel like he's going to win the struggle over this folder. I'm like, okay. I think he'd let go if that happened.
Yeah, no, it's a great scene.
It's another thing. He just loves headbutting shit.
Loves headbutting shit. You know what else he loves?
What's that?
Man, he just wants to dance.
Yeah. I was worried I was going to find it like super pretentious, and if anyone's going to say that's a problem,
Sure.
I
don't know.
Thought it fit the character though, because
I felt it was just very creepy.
I'm like, I don't like this. Because it's like, you got to think, it kind of goes along with it. He's probably just imagining shit he is like, hey, I heard you're a good dancer. Thanks.
You know who's not? That guy over there.
You know what I love about that scene? That shook something loose.
In him?
Yeah.
It also shook something loose in me because I was like, oh, shit. It's like the first time a gun goes off. You're like, oh.
Exactly.
Scary.
This movie, just like, not to compare this to such great literature, but I will. Mm-hmm. Just like, spoilers for hundreds of years old books, Of Mice and Men, just because you see the tragedy coming from a mile away doesn't make it any less impactful or jarring or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the same thing here. You're clued into what's going to happen. Like the gun goes off and you think, "Oh fuck. Something has been shaken loose." And then he shoots the Wall Street guys. It's like, now things have really escalated.
And the fucking scene, I've just thought about it again, the children's hospital scene.
Oh my God.
It's just like, there's so many scenes where I was like, no.
I just thought, like, what fucking, like, gall to fucking make a scene like that.
There's some bile, man. Like,
Yeah.
Todd Phillips had some bile to spew. And the screenwriter, Scott Silver, who, God damn it, man, the writer of, he wrote The Fighter, and I think he worked on 8 Mile. God damn it, him and Todd Phillips really crafted something here that's just, I'm never going to forget this.
Yeah.
Of 2019 films, it's up there for the one I won't forget.
Yeah.
One of the only few.
Yeah. All right, so one more thing about the way how everyone sucks. Mm-hmm. This is, as TV tropes would put it, the ultimate crapsack world movie.
Yeah.
It's just like, you think about the world he's in, and he doesn't try to look for positive. Instead, it's like, the kill the rich protesters, but then Thomas Wayne and company, they're kind of dicks too.
Yeah, and he sees that fucking kill the rich thing, and he's like, this is a good movement to hijack, and because people like me here at the end.
He doesn't, that's like the craziest part. It's like, he doesn't really seem interested in anything they're talking about. He's just like, I'm glad I'm causing chaos.
Yep.
Which is all what Joker is all about.
It sure is.
All about that chaos. Mm-hmm. And there's this, right after that scene, there's one of my favorite shots of the movie is when he's dressed up as like the usher.
Oh yeah,
and he's just standing in the middle of the
aisle.
The aisle.
Watching Charlie Chaplin.
What a great shot.
Dude, there's so many in this.
Because
it's so well framed.
It's so well framed because it's like
low angle.
Well, it's him imagining himself like, I think I could do that. Mm-hmm. Like he's so enthralled with what everyone's watching. And then there he is standing up while everyone else is sitting down like, I think I could do this.
There's another scene too, like the scene where he's like practicing his entry onto the Murray Franklin show.
Yeah.
Reminded me of Nightcrawler, where he's like trying to pretend to be normal.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is I don't like this at all.
Yeah, it's
goddamn, it's good.
So unsettling. Another interesting thing was about how his delusions made him kind of an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, did all of this happen or not?
Well,
the way that we think or the way that he remembers.
No, fuck that. It happened except for the shit that they clearly showed didn't.
Right.
All right, fuck everyone and their dumb theories, goddammit. Sorry, I have that's a pet peeve of mine just with all sorts of fiction, whether it be books or movies. No, fuck you. All of it happened except for the stuff where they showed that it clearly didn't.
Right.
The Zazie Beetz character was interesting for that reason.
Yeah.
Because, what happened too is I thought during the hospital scene, I'm like, where the fuck did she go? Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's why she disappears, because she wasn't there. I really liked that. I thought that was a cool aspect because that's part of... It shows you how his kind of disconnect from the real world kind of exacerbated his problem.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, man. There's so much to like. So much to love in this.
All right.
In the worst way, though. Because I love this, and I know it's a movie that doesn't love me back.
Yeah, it doesn't. It gives no fucks what you think.
No, it certainly doesn't.
Which is it's just so crazy. But I like that they were willing to go there. Mm-hmm. So... Let's talk about the fucking one of the major turning points towards the end of the movie. The talk show scene.
Oh yeah, well that's the climax of the movie.
Hold on, let's go through all the murders. We're going through the body count like it's a horror movie.
Oh god,
all right, we got Wall Street guys. Kills them first.
Oh Jesus, yeah, I forgot about a couple others.
Oh my God, we forgot the creepiest one, in my opinion.
The one with the
where he kills
his friends from
the clown place.
Yikes!
Oh man, because I felt like I was having an out of body experience.
Why?
I'm like, what is going on? What universe am I living in where this is a movie that's a mainstream movie based on a comic book.
You're
what
like,
is going on?
I saw Spider-Man Far From Home a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And this is coming out in the same year.
Wow, this is taking a big swing.
Yeah.
Perhaps bigger swings than that guy's head against the
Shazam came out earlier this year and is from the same studio.
Yeah.
And that is nothing like this.
See, that's the thing, though. I think this has a lot in common with Shazam. This movie, I think we're getting. There's one thing we're getting wrong about the Joker. It's really a heartwarming, fun movie. It's about how love conquers all, and what really counts is family. No, it is none of those things. But that scene where he's just bashing his head against the wall, I'm like,
oh my God.
someone please explain to me how this is like fun or cool or whatever.
Which Warner Brothers execs was watching this? Like, how are they watching this in the screening room? Like with Todd Phillips, like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm blown away.
Do you think you could have him hit his head against the wall one more time?
Yeah, can we get that reshot?
Yeah, I think just one more bash ought to do it. I think the second time I counted.
Really?
It was like over 10.
It's crazy too because
And then
he stabs him with scissors first.
Well, yeah, and then his other friend, the little person. Mm-hmm. Oh my God!
What a terrifying! Like
you're so worried because that's the other thing is. I was talking about this with one of my friends. Mm-hmm. He was saying, like, the reason that scene wasn't glorifying the violence is because you feel bad or you're worried about him.
You're in his place, not Arthur's place.
Yeah.
And like the other thing about that scene too is it's very similar to again, we've been referencing it a bit here, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the climax there, that scene where, you know, you have all the Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio and the Manson people, that being a really, really intense but like delicate blend of like horror, terror, comedy, action. Like this is the same deal. It's like terror, but like a little bit of dark jet black comedy where you're like,
God, when he fakes him out,
yeah, you're like, what am I supposed to feel?
You want to know what's weird? Both showings, you want to know what happened? The laughs, though they were sparse, everyone laughed at different things.
That's very interesting.
Because a lot of people were unsure what to make. I think part of that's like, hey, this is supposed to be like one of them Quentin Tarantino things, right? the bloody parts are supposed to be funny, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Is it okay if I laugh?
Those, I'm telling you, there were scattered laughs, and I felt like there's no communal laughs at either showing.
There was only one in mind. It was the part where he walks into the open door, or he walks into the hospital sliding door.
Yeah, no, okay, that was one for sure.
Mm-hmm. But that was it. But yeah, no, it's like everything else was like, I feel like either nervous laughter or like people trying to blow off steam laughter, which is kind of the same as nervous laughter. But yeah, this was a weird movie to see in the theater in a good way, I would say.
And you know another great thing about that scene is? That chilling moment where it's like, you were the only one who was nice to me. Mm-hmm.
And he kisses him on the head.
And guess what? There's another, that's Arthur, missing what's good around him, not counting blessings.
That's the narcissism talking.
Yes.
You're the only one that was good to me.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Well, and then he kills his mom, too.
Oh, yeah, Penny Fleck.
Yeah, talk about them using a line from the trailer in a different way than I thought.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a fucking comedy.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, Arthur was not playing around.
As I said earlier, if you take your child to see this movie, you're Penny Fleck.
Yeah, you're terrible. You're a terrible parent.
You're not a great mom.
Yeah.
And that whole element, too, of like,
oh, her delusions. That's so funny. It was so funny because I thought when she was talking, I'm like, she sounds like she's full of shit. She sounds like she's crazy. Mm-hmm. And then when I saw her writing the letter, I thought, okay, where's this going? And then as soon as you realize it's bullshit, I'm like, aha, of course. Well, because she came off as such a delusional crazy lady.
Well, and that comes just from also her nickname, her pet name for Arthur. She calls him Happy.
Yeah.
And that's her either misinterpreting his laughing disorder or using his laughing disorder as like something to explain away
Yeah.
his nervousness and his pain that he's really. That's why he's laughing, is because he's doing it out of pain and trauma, and she calls him happy because he's laughing, and she's really lying to herself.
Real quick, even though it's just a short scene, whoever that actress was, just that line, "He's such a happy little boy."
Oh, the younger Penny
freaked me the fuck out. Even though it's just like one little scene.
Flashback too, because Arthur's there.
Yeah, God, I love that.
So many good choices. Like, yep, that's because even when the flashback happened, I'm like, oh, we're doing a flashback, and then Arthur's there, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good choice. I like that, Todd.
The other thing is about
even though you didn't direct this movie,
about Arthur and like the crap sack world he lives in. It does make kind of a point. It's like you can't just, I think like one of the things is, I guess I don't know if it pointed this out directly, but it's just kind of like you can't just ignore things and like not expect, like this movie kind of made a point where it's like Arthur has some mental illnesses that he can't help, and the world around him, it didn't really help.
Yeah, there's been a systemic fuck up.
Yeah, I think that's part of what the movie was saying, is that in order for things to work, systems have to be in place. But I think it's like systems and individual responsibilities exist.
Yeah, there were things initiated. There are things that were self-motivated by the protagonist, by the anti-hero.
Well, I wouldn't even call him an anti-hero.
He's the villain of his own story.
All right, so of the main character.
The main character. There's things initiated by him that are initiated by him. The delusions are all him. I mean, they're mentally founded, and they're probably exacerbated by things such as like mental illnesses, but it's
and the abuse
but
that he suffered as a kid.
Him retreating into his fantasy world and living there and going off and executing a guy when he could have easily let well enough alone and called the police and said, hey, these guys were beating me up. Those are choices made by Arthur that I think are very clearly founded, and it's again, It also doesn't shy away from acknowledging, that he also has these mental illnesses, and there were systemic breakdowns.
Right.
There was psychological health care that wasn't available to him. It's very nuanced. It's like, no, it's not either or, motherfucker. It's all of the above.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't. That's what I was saying about the way it treats morality. Like certain things happen because that's just the way it goes, and certain things happen because those are the consequences.
Right.
So now let's move on to the talk show scene.
Oh,
Holy shit.
This is like acting heavyweights duking it out. I thought the scene was... Because when I'd heard about this scene going in...
Yeah, I kind of knew. I heard... This is one of those things I heard about the ending, too, as a rumor, and it turned out it was true.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be...
Didn't make it any less shocking when he fucking shoots him right in the head.
I thought it was going to be a lot shorter, but there's a real long build-up. And it's amazing, because it's just him ranting and arguing and being awkward, and it's just an incredible mounting build-up to this huge oh fuck no moment for the audience, and you see it coming a mile away.
And there's a perfect example of the nuance. It's like, you invited me on the show to make fun of me, you asshole. And he's right, but at the same time, that does not give Arthur the right, even in the remotest sense,
and that's
to do what he ends up doing.
Exactly, and the nuance there is, too, is you're like, I don't like either of these people, but De Niro is clearly saying the most right things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wrong, Arthur. You killed people. You can't kill people. Like, saying all the right things. But there's nuance in that. It's like, this guy's a piece of shit that's profiting off of making fun of the mentally ill. So it's so dark, and god damn it, it's like, oh fuck.
You want to know what's so effective about it?
What's that?
It being in a talk show setting, you feel like you're in the audience.
I'll tell you what,
like in the studio, you know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, this has made going back and watching Joaquin Phoenix on the press tour for this movie on shows like Jimmy Fallon and shit very weird to watch.
Oh yeah, because it's like, oh my god, so tell me about this movie where oh my god, I'm just such a big fan. You just shoot those Wall Street guys. That was so awesome. Oh my god, I just love your movies, man.
It's so weird to watch those and knowing what happens in this movie. You're like, oh, why as the PR person would you ever let him on a talk show because of what happens in this movie?
Yeah.
But It's
So he shoots
chilling.
him, and then he says, "You get what you fucking deserve," in that chilling line. And then what's so fucked up is he really follows through with the Zombieland double tap rule. Mm-hmm. My God, like, who does he shoot just once? No one.
Yeah.
Except for, like, maybe the first Wall Street. No, fuck it. I think he shoots, like, he's crazy. But anyway, my friend and I were talking about this movie, and he made a point about the 24-hour news cycle. It starts with the radio at the very beginning, and then as soon as he shoots him, you want to know what kind of is, like, weird, eerie about that? The nature of the news. There's a certain disconnect. Oh, that guy who was on the TV, he just got shot. Mm-hmm. Where when you're in the studio, quote unquote, or where you're watching that scene as it happens, you're like, oh my God, he murdered him. But then it just becomes, just another news story.
There's shades of Network.
Yeah.
In ways with what the fuck is the Peter Finch character?
Right.
He gets killed on TV in his own show.
So then Joker is hauled out, but then he is taken by his
cohorts, new henchmen,
whatever you want to call him. And then there's that chilling goddamn moment where he draws the blood smile.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Oh my God! And I just thought, wow,
this is the movie that
you did that worked. That worked. That was extremely effective.
It's about as good of a Joker origin movie as is possible.
Yeah. Also, real quick, the score.
Oh my God, her name is Hildur Gudnadóttir?
Something Icelandic.
Yeah. She did the score for
the Chernobyl
show.
Yeah, the documentary. There's something so the guttural low tones. They're just they just I don't know how to put it. They seem to like go well with the whole like motif that he's becoming a predator.
Yeah, it's scary. It's a scary, scary score for a scary movie.
And it's like that part where he gets up on the car and starts dancing. It's like, this guy is a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
He really thinks this is good.
In the last scene.
Yeah.
We find he's probably been retelling all of this, we think, to a new therapist.
Yeah.
And he says, what does he say? He's laughing.
And then she says,
something
what's so funny? And he says, oh, it's just a joke. I don't think you'd get it.
But then it intercuts with
him running back and forth in the halls, stepping, with the footprints of blood.
Well, before that, it's when he says he's laughing. She's like, "What's so funny?" And he's like, "You wouldn't." Or he's like, "I was just thinking of a joke, but you wouldn't get it." And intercut in there is like footage of Bruce Wayne over his fucking dead parents, and I'm like, "Oh shit, is this like the Joker?"
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that. It's like, here's an interesting way to. Because it's like Joker killed his parents indirectly,
and he
in a weird
this,
way.
And he's like, "What did I just start?
Yeah.
Did I just make this kid did I just set this kid down a path that I kind of went down and
he doesn't give a shit though because he's just happy that he's noticed.
He's happy that he's noticed.
Finally noticing.
Yeah, he's happy that he's noticed, and he's happy that he exists, and he's left craters in the world around him.
I think that's the cycle he started and the movement, I don't know if you'd even call it that, but the chaos he started, it's kind of a cautionary tale in a little bit of ways.
It's a horror movie, really.
It's a horror movie. It's a cautionary tale. It's a lot of things. So, I guess we'll move on to scores.
I feel like we have to.
Well, this is obvious for me. Perfect score. 5 out of 5. The first of the fucking year.
It took 10 months.
Yeah.
But you got a 10 out of 10 from me as well. It is.
Oh my God. That's a double perfect score. Perfect 15 out of 15.
Well deserved.
Yeah. So that'll do it for our review of Insane Clown Posse Rising. Well, we're low on time, so we'll keep album recommendations short. Just name an album. Okay. Steely Dan, Can't Buy Thrill. What do you got?
Out of the Blue by ELO.
Okay, that's it. Okay, find us on all our social media if you like the show. That's Shout Engine, Spotify, iTunes, God damn it, what are the other ones? YouTube, and then Facebook. Talk to us on Facebook, and then also, Twitter. Boo, Twitter sucks, but, Twitter's also there. All right, so see you guys next time.